So, imagine that you were randomly approached by a giant talking crystal that called itself Earth, and then it gave you the power to see into other people's pasts and fight giant monsters. I'm pretty sure you'd be a little confused too, right? Hello and welcome back to the lore of Eorzea. I'm the Exarch, and today we will be clearing up some things about Hydaelyn. Now, Hydaelyn can actually refer to two things: the goddess Hydaelyn, and the planet that Eorzea and the rest of the settings of the game reside on. That second part might be surprising, and even a bit confusing, since in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, planets aren't called planets, they're called stars. This is despite actual stars being a thing that definitely exists. So in the game, they refer to it as the Star of Hydaelyn, which may have misled some people to believe that the sun you see in the game is actually Hydaelyn, rather than the planet the game takes place on. What makes it even more confusing is that they call it the Star of Hydaelyn maybe like 2 or 3 times in the game, and even when discussing potentially world-ending threats, usually the characters you're talking to will refer to it as the fate of Eorzea. Now, this is in large part because most of those world-ending threats are taking place in Eorzea, and most of those lines are delivered by Eorzeans, but it can still be misleading, and may lead some people to believe that the entire planet is Eorzea, which, as I established in the previous video, it's not. So, for clarification, Hydaelyn is the name of the planet, referred to as Star, and Eorzea is the geographical location on that planet that encompasses the continent of Aldenard and the surrounding islands. Aldenard is actually only one of the 3 main continents on Hydaelyn. The other 2 are Authard, all the way to the east, and Ilsabard to the northeast. Ilsabard's geography is mostly obscured by these clouds of "we're not showing you yet," most likely because the Eorzeans themselves have very little idea of what the continent looks like or what's there, due to it being dominated by the Garlean Empire. We do see the imperial capital of Garlemald and some floating islands to the north, but that's about it. Authard is more familiar to us, being revealed in Stormblood. These islands here are actually part of Hingashi, where Kugane lies, which is not part of Authard, but might be considered part of the same geographical location, much in the same way Eorzea encompasses both Aldenard and its surrounding islands. Hingashi is separated from Authard by the Ruby Sea, which is home to the Confederacy and the mysterious Tower Heaven on High. Authard itself is the location of both Doma and the Azim Steppe, and you can see certain other areas, like the Burn, visible on the map. It's important to note that the 3 great continents are not the only continents on Hydaelyn, and this map is not complete by any means. Over here to the northwest, you can see Old Sharlayan, which was home to, well, the Sharlayans, and there are a number of regions not shown on the map. Most of the other regions are mentioned by name, but are never shown to us players. Muricidia is a continent that lies to the south and has a lot of history with the ancient Allagans. Specifically, its people were the original summoners of both Bahamut and the Warring Triad, who were summoned when the Allagans invaded their territory, and basically just gave the Allagans new toys to play with. There's also Thavnair, which is said to be a pirate haven, Erzlint, there's no way I'm pronouncing that right, which is mentioned as the Seawolf Rogadin's homeland, and the New World, which is the home of blue magic. As previously mentioned, Hydaelyn also happens to be the name of a powerful goddess that pretty much represents all the light on the planet of Hydaelyn. Imagine if we here on Earth had a deity that was also named Earth, and whenever someone said Earth, you never knew if they were talking about the planet or the person. Anyway, confusion aside, Hydaelyn is essentially the patron goddess of the Warrior of Light. She's the origin of both the Blessing of Light, sometimes also just straight up called Hydaelyn's Blessing, and the Echo. When she appears to the Warrior of Light, she takes on the appearance of a giant crystal, and she seems to have limited ability to interact with the world in this state, though she has on a few occasions used her power directly. 2 notable exceptions occur during the raid on the Praetorium, once to protect the Warrior of Light from the Ultima spell cast by the Ultima weapon, and the second time to help the Warrior of Light defeat La Habrea without killing Thancred. Throughout A Realm Reborn story, constant mention is made to Hydaelyn's waning power, presumably due to the increased darkness caused by the 7th Umbral Era. Notably, after the events mentioned before, Hydaelyn doesn't do anything remotely like that again for the Warrior of Light, lending credence to the idea that her powers are spent. Towards the end of Heavensward's post-expansion story, it's revealed that Minfilia became something of a messenger to Hydaelyn, following the events of the Warrior of Light's escape from Ul'dah at the end of A Realm Reborn. Presumably, doing so restored some of Hydaelyn's power, as Hydaelyn was able to do things like transport the Warriors of Darkness between two separate worlds, as well as some other cool stuff that I'll get to later. Hydaelyn pretty much takes a back seat in the story after this, but it should be noted that her significance is still felt, since she's responsible for everything the Warrior of Light does with the Blessing of Light and the Echo. Okay, so remember how in the last episode I said I would be saving my Shadowbringers spoilers to the end of these videos for the time being? Well, it wasn't really relevant in that one, but it's definitely relevant here. Everything beyond this is to discuss lore dropped on us in Shadowbringers, so if you do not want to be spoiled, do not keep watching. You have been warned. Emet-Selch, aka the Warrior of Light's new best buddy, sorry Gaius, drops a pretty big lore bomb on us about halfway through the story. See, according to Emet-Selch, who'd never lied to us ever because we're besties, both Zodiark and Hydaelyn are primals summoned by the Ascians themselves back before the world was split into the Source and the 13 Reflections. According to his side of things, the original world was facing a huge calamity, so the Ascians, who were masters of creation magic, basically said, "Let us make manifest the will of the star itself, that it may deliver all of us from this madness," or something along those lines. So they summoned Zodiark, and it apparently fixed the problem. Unfortunately, and Emet-Selch probably forgot to tell us this because his old best friend had to tell us instead, but I'm sure it wasn't because good old Emmet was omitting this information or anything. Summoning Zodiark resulted in nearly half of the Ascians losing their lives to bring him into existence, and another half of those who remained were sacrificed to provide him with the necessary ether to stave off the calamity. Emet-Selch and the other members of the Convocation originally planned to allow the newly saved world to flourish until it was abundant with vitality and life, and then sacrifice some of that vitality to bring back the Ascians who were sacrificed to summon Zodiark. However, a large number of the other Ascians decided that enough had already been sacrificed to Zodiark. Their plan was to summon another being to destroy Zodiark before he could take more from them. That being was, of course, Hydaelyn. It was Hydaelyn fighting and striking down Zodiark that split the world into 14 pieces. In other words, because Hydaelyn was created by Ascian creation magic, and Ascian creation magic is the foundation for summoning primals, Hydaelyn and Zodiark are in fact, technically speaking, both primals. Hydaelyn being a primal also explains why those with the Blessing of Light can't be tempered by primals. Primals can't temper individuals who are already tempered by another primal. This raises some interesting questions about the Warrior of Light's actions and free will, but since the player ultimately has complete control over their character's actions, I doubt the story will give us an answer besides, the Warrior of Light is in complete control of their actions, Hydaelyn merely gives them protection and strength. Of course, that's merely my guess. Who knows, maybe we'll wind up breaking free of even Hydaelyn's control and becoming even more of a living god in the world of the game than we already are. Also, it is possible Emet-Selch is lying to us in some regard. My jokes about him being our best friend aside, he definitely has motivation to make himself seem more sympathetic to the Warrior of Light, so lying about the nature of Zodiark and Hydaelyn does make sense. However, because most of what he says is confirmed by his best friend, and we do see the runes of Amarot, and cutscenes from the end of Shadowbringers confirm that the Warrior of Light and Ardbert were originally the same person, I personally doubt he was lying, but I did want to bring up the possibility. And I think that pretty much wraps us up on Hydaelyn. I'm sure that Shadowbringers' post-expansion story is going to shed even more light on this topic, especially given the focus on Hydaelyn and Zodiark in the main story, so the information in this video might become outdated relatively soon, but for now, we really don't know that much more about the Mother Crystal. Also, I did want to let you guys know that it seems to take me about 2 weeks to throw these episodes together. Now, I'm not saying 2 weeks worth of editing went into this video, I just mean to say that between work, college, and my social life, I'm not really able to work on these episodes more than maybe once or twice a week, and I'm still relatively new to video editing at that. I will try to see if I can streamline my process and free up even more time to work on editing, but as of right now, you should expect a new episode out every 2 weeks or so. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe for more Final Fantasy XIV lore. And of course, feel free to leave any feedback in the comments below. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.